that suggests perhaps the first remark we might make about what's going on right now in America, which is that irrespective of your political views, where you fall on whether people should be lionized in public and who should be, and who gets to decide, who and what we are, we're losing art, aren't we? We're losing great works of artistic accomplishment when we deface, tear down, lock away statues of famous people, because typically these have been commissioned and executed by people who are quite good at what they do.
Well, they were. This is what I'm wondering about. In the list that you read, one, there's the memory of the people that is supposed to be maintained by having these images. But even thinking about, this is not the kind of public art that we even make anymore. We haven't made it in 100 years. And so
a contemporary statue is all these grotesque, abstract uglinesses.
There's tearing down statues that were made 100 years ago that were actually figural likenesses.
Right, that in some cases are quite inspirational and beautiful and inscribed in many cases with the war dead, with names of fallen soldiers and law enforcement. And the things that we're not worrying about are these $500,000, bloodhead blobs outside of council buildings.
Are they on your list? I mean,
they haven't been vandalized because nobody knows what they mean.
Nobody knows
because they don't mean anything. Because
these are all the lists that you gave us. I'm sorry, where I'm pointing to. I'm used to having classroom work.
No, you can have it if it helps you to brandish it. You can brandish it if it helps you to brandish it.
Brandishing it. That this long list of all of these, they're people, right? There's some fashion in which the images are physical likenesses of human beings, and those are the ones that are being attacked. And I don't think it matters who they are. I mean, you were listing off who the memorials were too, but there's a kind of rage of attacking just any human figure that's out there, and that is curious because there are religious traditions that explicitly forbid having any human figures. And I'm wondering how many of the attacks people are thinking about in those terms.
Right. I mean, in the Islamic world, you can't depict anything with a face. Right. So art can't have... there are no animals and there are no people in Islamic art. There are certainly plenty of Muslims out on the street tearing down or attempting to deface statues of Columbus and helpfully egged on, by the way, helpfully egged on by places like Wikipedia and the media, who are providing these lists, these helpful Google Maps, categorized lists of where all of the king and queen statues are. Seems to be that this is not just about people, but it's about attacking the symbols of Western civilization itself. Attacking the fundamentals of civilization, tearing down, having infiltrated and destroyed the institutions, educational institution, the church, and all the rest of it. Now they're moving on to the visible symbols of Western civilization, having already conquered the institutions from within.
But it's interesting thinking about what it means to say that these human figures are symbols of Western civilization, because in Islamic iconoclasm, they'll knock out the eyes, right? And particularly, we jump to the 16th century with the Protestants destroying images. But there is iconoclasm throughout the Middle Ages. When the Muslims take over Christian art, they'll go through the churches and knock out all the eyes of the mosaics. And they're knocking out the thing that makes it human, the thing that makes it some kind of representation of a soul.
The thing that even when you're wearing a niqab you can't avoid, which is the eyes.
Right.
In Houston, that had a hand chopped off, a noose placed around its neck, and the message, "Rip the head from your oppressor," taped to it. In Miami, statues of Columbus and Ponce de Leon were defaced. Columbus statues beheaded in Boston, spray-painted in Pittsburgh, thrown into a lake in Richmond, torn down in St. Paul. Camden and Wilmington, among other Democrat cities, took down statues of the great explorer Columbus on his own, and Boston is probably going to follow suit. We're not even nearly done yet. Wilmington took down a statue of Caesar Rodney, one of the founding fathers, and a sign of the Declaration.
I didn't even know there was this many statues out there.
I didn't know there's this many states, this many cities. One of the founding fathers and a sign of the Declaration of Independence. A statue of General Philip Schuyler, a member of the Continental Congress, father-in-law of Alexander Hamilton, removed by Albany's Democrat mayor. The monument to General Kosciuszko, a Polish national hero who had served as a colonel in the Continental Army. That was taken down from Washington, D.C. Vandalized, excuse me. The statue of General Casimir Pulaski, who fought for American independence, defaced. A statue of Abigail Adams, the wife of John Adams, vandalized. She was, of course, a fervent opponent of slavery. That was vandalized in Boston. In Dover, Delaware, a memorial to fallen law enforcement officers was viciously vandalized. The statue of an officer kneeling before the list of names of the fallen was attacked with an axe, and the state flags flying over their names soaked in urine. Memorials to fallen police officers vandalized in Richmond, Virginia Beach, and Fort Worth. Fuck the Police was spray painted on the California Peace Officers Memorial in Sacramento. A memorial to, I'm going to stop, but